Oh Lord, I hope this doesn't mess up. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a powerful and emotional episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, The Life of the Stars. This isn't your average sci-fi adventure. We're unpacking a fascinating look at trauma, resilience, and identity in a world where technology and humanity are deeply intertwined. We'll discuss the shocking diagnosis for Sam, the Academy's first holographic student, and how Lieutenant Tilly's mandatory theater class offers a surprising path to healing. And what about the Doctor's incredible sacrifice? Can a holographic parent raise a child in just 2 weeks? We're breaking down all the psychological implications of this game-changing episode. What did you think of Sam's choice? Let me know in the comments below. Oh yeah, today's title. Let's break it down.
The Life of the Stars. Okay, so I love this episode. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Latin phrase, through the stars, through the hardships, or whatever. But in this particular episode, they take a play by Wilder, this town, and they have this quote in there: "The life of the village against the life of the stars." And so, what this episode does is it takes things that we see as trivial, everyday human things, and see how those small moments are important. And it compares them to the life of the stars that's eternal. Time is experienced different in the stars, but just being an everyday lay person, you want to make sure that those small moments are celebrated.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
I love this.
That adds like another layer. Like I was just looking at it like, oh, Our Town. I remember reading that in high school, and I was just like, oh, it's a play within a not a play, but a play within a play. And then you added that, and I was like, dang.
I thought it was a beautiful episode. I love that they, incorporated Tilly and did the whole play thing. This is an amazing episode, and I keep smiling because it made me feel things, and so
What did it make you feel?
like emotions. Like, am I wanting to kind of tear up a little? Like, what's going on? I had these tear ducts removed in 1984, so nothing should be coming out of my eyes. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's weird, and even more so in the next episode. But anyway, we'll get there.
Okay, all right. So let's start. Tarima Siddal describes herself as a ghost girl because people won't look her in the eye or touch her after her recovery. The Starfleet's focus on science and research for survivors actually isolate them further from the village of the Academy.
So I don't know if I would say it isolates them from the village or the academy, so to speak, but I don't know that the proper preparation was put in place to reintegrate her the way in which they did. I don't think they properly schooled the cadets, nor did they properly prepare Tarima for that. And to be honest, may have been a little bit too soon for her to reintegrate and then reintegrate in a different college than she was in before. So while I appreciate what they tried to do, I understand her frustration and kind of a little bit of the confusion, to the other cadets. So I don't know. Well, I guess in essence, I see how she could feel isolated because they didn't prepare them. But yeah, I feel like I kind of tap dance around answering the question. But
No. You're dealing with psychology, so we don't have all the answers, but like I feel you on that. All right. So is Tarima right to be angry at Tilly for bleeding their trauma for a play?
So when it comes to how people receive help, I can't say that anybody's wrong for how they feel when it comes to those things. So I'm not going to say that she's wrong. She didn't understand, and nor should, I guess, in that moment, what the end game was. And so I don't think she's wrong for being upset because she still is, one, afraid of herself, and two, like, why are y'all trying to force this on me? Like, this is too much. So I don't think she was wrong at all. It's an authentic, genuine reaction to everything that was at play.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, I am definitely one of those people. Why are you trying to force this? Why are you trying to force it? Let it happen naturally. Let it happen naturally. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And really, every time that happens, like, I really want you to do it.
Right, because I know I need it, but I gotta push. I wouldn't be me if I didn't. But you have me in this covert uh psychiatry mission or a psychology mission that I just don't know, what you're doing. And so yes, I'm gonna push. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so we learned that Sam was programmed without a childhood or resilience, leaving her unable to process the overload of the Miyazaki trauma. Was it unethical for the makers to create a pure photonic being without the capacity for resilience?
I think that because of who they are, they 100% didn't even think about that or care. And even when she in previous episodes tried to explain certain things to them, they shut her down. And so I'm not surprised that when it came to her makeup, her being, that she was lacking in those things. They are so wrong for that. So I'm like, okay, so this explains the what we call glitching, and while she's not, doing so well. So they were 100% in error for leaving that out of her. And then boom, I'm going to catapult you into what is essentially your freshman year of college at a Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. So, just a question for you. If you could skip 17 years of growing up to fix your trauma, would you?
No,
Mm.
no. As crazy as that sounds, and I'm like, I'm wanting the pills ain't doing. I just want a quick fix button right now. And so wait, but I have to give up 17 years. I don't think I could do. And I know it's just like, okay, so you don't want to be great. You really just don't want to be great. No, I don't need those 17 because they are part of the reason why I am the way that I am.
Yeah, you might not even recognize yourself later. I mean, there are parts of Sam that her friends didn't recognize
Hmm.
once she came back changed.
Absolutely. She was still a little mean, kind of a little mean,
Yeah,
just a little.
yeah, yeah. Like, and you know what? Since we're talking about it, like, um, why did she react that way with Genesis of all her friends? Like, she didn't react that way with anyone else, but just Genesis. Why?
I really don't know because I was like, hey, okay, Sam. Like that's why I was like, that's a little mean. I wonder why.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
don't know, just where's the resentment coming from? Because if we're being honest, like with all the little underhanded, crappy things that Genesis has done, she was one of the first people to embrace you and welcoming you, and didn't really want anything from you, but she was
mhm,
genuinely friendly.
mhm, mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know what happened in that room in that dormitory to where she feel like screw you, Genesis. I'm not rooming with you next semester.
You can keep that little toothbrush.
All right, and please.
All right. So the doctor reveals he couldn't hold Sam's hand because she reminded him of his holographic daughter, Belle, whom he lost 800 years ago. Does the doctor's decision to parent Sam on Cask represent a true healing of his own 800-year-old trauma, or is he just trying to survive the loss again?
I think because he pushed so hard against it, before he would even allow himself to admit it, before Sam started glitching and all of these things, um, because he tried so hard to stay away from that, and his decision to ultimately parent her, I think that was a step toward healing. Because in being able to heal, he still had to come to the terms of the detrimental loss while still parenting her. So there's no getting away from it. Um, so yeah, I think that it was true healing, not just kind of band-aiding a bullet wound.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. And Peter Rabbit, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
As opposed to infamous. Thank you so much.
Okay. So Sam identifies the theme of the play as hopeful defiance, the act of living in tiny moments despite knowing one day we'll all be gone. In a universe of starships and infinite time, is the life of the village, the small mundane moments, actually more important than the life of the stars?
I love that question. I love it because for me it's like, oh, this is the easy one. But I'm gonna say that yes, the life of the village, you know, is more enriching, is more vital, simply because you can't waste time. When you are, you have the eternal, you're dealing with that, you know, you have the luxury of not being able to be apologetic or just moving on or not being a respecter of time, so to speak. But the everyday mundane forces you to kind of deal in the now. And so I think the everyday village life is more important because time is fleeting.
Now, I think 10 years ago, I would have been like, no, the life of the stars would have been much more important because you're going out and you're doing all these things and you're saving lives, you're saving worlds, you're saving all these, like that's where my mind would have been. And then now, in my, I'm about to say in my 50s,
Late
now,
20s.
now, like I can appreciate the mundane, those small conversations that you have with people and the laughter that it brings 10, 15, 20 years later. Those are the things that you talk about and laugh about. You get the story all wrong, but you know what I'm saying, the feelings are still the same. And so yeah, I agree with you on that one. The
Because the
mundane is
mundane, to
more
me, the
important.
mundane, even the sheer thought of it was like a curse word. Mundane. What? Scoffs. You know?
Mhm.
But now it's like, okay, I can't wait for those tiny little moments, just like you said, the retelling of stories, even though we get them wrong. So echoing what you're saying. Yes, 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 and yes.
Okay. When Sam returns in 2 weeks, she will have
I love how you
17
said it 2 weeks.
she will have 17 years of new memories plus her original 209 days at the academy. Ooh, that was so funny when the guy said on her home world, he said it took us 2 years to build her, and in 209 days you killed her.
But were they wrong?
No,
But
you
really,
weren't.
when we think about it, we can put it right back on y'all because you did not put her or program her with everything that she needed to be successful.
And it just goes to show that maybe the two, meaning flesh and blood, human and technology, those two, humans and technology, need to work together in order to build something more lasting, more purposeful.
Better point. I love that.
That was not my question. So let's get to it. It was just something that just came to top of the head. All right. How will a 17-year-old's mindset change the dynamic of the cadet squad?
How will the say it again? I'm sorry.
So Sam, her now 17-year-old's mindset, this change that she's gone through, how will that change the dynamic of the squad?
Oh my God. So essentially, the aura of the Sam that you knew is kind of gone, in a sense. And so it will definitely change the group's dynamic simply because Sam is kind of like sometimes an afterthought, but
Mm,
also she is glue. She's glue. So she's dropping little nuggets oftentimes, to the other members and makes the group more cohesive to me because she offered that lightheartedness. She didn't have those childhood memories and moments. So she was in essence like just very unfiltered, very direct. It wasn't rude or hurtful. It was just a very overt and kind of just like word vomit thing happening constantly, but serendipitous in a way that it made people comfortable and safe with her. And so I feel like that'll kind of, to me, kind of change the cohesiveness of the group a bit because you need that lightheartedness of Sam and just kind of playful, but at the same time direct. You know,
Mm,
so
mm,
I
mm,
think that
mm.
ultimately will change the group and not in the best way when we think about it in those terms.
So, hmm, I do have another question that goes along with it, but let me preface it. In the original show, we had Spock. So Spock was learning how to be more human
Mm.
from his human counterparts. In the Next Generation, we had Data. Data was an android, and so he was learning how to be human himself through, everyone else that he came in contact with. In Deep Space Nine, we had Odo. Odo was a changeling, which basically meant he could change whatever shape that he wanted slash needed, and so he was learning how to be human from everyone else. Um, we have through Star Trek, we have typically had a character. Sometimes the character was human. They were learning because they were so young, right? We had at least a character who was going through the process of learning, of becoming. I think that's a better way of saying it. They were becoming whatever it was that they were becoming. They were becoming, right? And I fear that her character in growing up those 17 years, she's not going to be as beloved as some of those other characters. Those other characters that I've named, they're beloved in all of Star Trek, right? She was poised to be beloved, right? I do think that the actress playing her has a lot going for her, right? She's so bubbly, she's so free, she's so open, she's so, you know what I'm saying? There's so much about her that you can feel and touch, and you just want to be around, right? But I'm fearful that the dynamic that Star Trek has created, we might lose it.
Mm.
But here's my question: will she still be the joyful Sam um, that at least Tilly knows, or will her unbiased nature be gone forever?
I'm already seeing it. I guess I can kind of say like there are things like in the latest episode that I just loved, or whatever. But I think it's gonna forever change her. I don't feel that the unbiased nature will work to her benefit in essence for kind of how they reprogrammed her now. So I just don't think that that same bubbliness, that same vigor, that same zeal is going to be the same Sam that we see. And like I said, just the delivery with Genesis, I don't feel like that's something Sam would have ever done.
Mm, mm,
At least not in that way
mhm,
or anything.
mhm.
Well, no, maybe not at all. Because if anything, she's very intrusive. You know, and so yeah, I don't think she would have done that at all, and especially not in a ritual moment. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've been talking about Sam this entire time. We have not yet talked about Caleb and Tarima. What were your thoughts about that storyline?
Um. So, in trying to use the play and the characters that were strategically picked for them, I thought that was funny as hell and uncomfortable. Um, I feel like I'm a little bit over that storyline, if I'm being honest, with Caleb and Tarima. I don't know. It's probably just a meism, I'm sure. Um, but I don't know. Um, I really kind of want them to be done with that storyline. I feel like there are other things we could explore. I'm just kind of over him, and Tarima's storyline. But I do understand why she feels like stay out of my way a bit, and why he feels like kind of awkward and odd about it, but at the same time I felt how I felt.
Mhm, mhm,
So I feel like in
mhm,
essence they just both have to work through it. It was an uncomfortable situation for everybody, to say the least. And the fact that she can mind meld people and, you know, off them, that's scary as hell, for her and everyone else. And so Caleb is just already full of trauma and all of that. And I just don't think he needs all of that crap that's going on between him and Tarima. That's just me. Not a strong answer, but I'm really just kind of over that storyline.
So I will say this. So I do agree with you on that. Like I was shocked to hear you say it in such forceful terms, but I do agree with you. Having said that, though, I was not as turned off with her character this particular episode. I don't know what was different, but I was okay with her, and I think it was because it reminded me more of the Next Generation when we saw our first Betazoid. It was Deanna Troi. She was a ship's counselor, and she had a past relationship with the first officer. And I was looking at it from that perspective, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. They felt that the love affair between Deanna Troi and Commander Riker did not get its due, and so now we want that to live in this space now. And so I was like, okay, I get it.
I love the fact that you drew that connection. See, these are things that, as a neophyte, tricky. I need to know these things. I need to know. It enriches it so much more, and maybe it can tone down on some of my annoyance, like with certain pieces.
Now, when they started making movies, it was very clear that that the Betazoid, Deanna Troi, and Commander Riker, they had come together. Especially for in Picard, there was another television show that came out. The two of them were together, and so we saw it like that, but we didn't see it on television. And I think we needed to see it on television because it was the storyline that I feel Next Generation did not discover, for lack of a better word. It did not discover, and I think fans were deserving of it. And I think this is their response to that, in my mind, at least. All right. Is there anything else from this particular episode that you want to talk about that we have not covered?
I think we pretty much covered it all. We didn't really talk about Ake, but I feel like this was more so the doctor's episode than hers, and she just kind of had a little bit more of a supporting role in this episode. But I enjoyed this episode quite a bit.
I did as well. Mayfair out of 10, what would you give it?
This episode, I'm gonna say, for me, I'm gonna go 8.5. I'm gonna go 8.5, 8.59 range. Like I said, it was I felt things, and then there was the fear there of losing Sam. So probably closer to 9 than 8.5 for me. Very emotional, very well thought out. Love the fact that they did the whole using a play. I'm a big geek when it comes to quotes and things, and just deep meaning, and all the feels, even though I hate feeling a lot of the time. But I love just it's which is crazy. But but yes, it's more closer to a 9 than 8.5 for me. Great episode.
So for me, I gave this particular episode a 9.5, and I gave it a 9.5 because I know that this particular episode is going to be one of those episodes that we reference for years to come. Even within Starfleet Academy, this episode will be one that we will reference for years. Also, the play within a play with our town, there aren't that many plays that I read in my high school. I'm just going to keep it real. There aren't that many plays that I read, but Our Town was one. And I remember at first, everybody was just like, this sucks. But the more we read, it was like, really?
And they used the play, and it wasn't just overly silly. It got dark. It got really dark. So yeah.
And then the fact that in order for them to do that, they had to sit down and they had to say, okay, we want this to happen, 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 in order for all of those different things to make sense, right? It wasn't something that they just threw together. They actually thought about this, right? And I was here for everything, even down to the pillow. You know what I'm saying? Like, they thought about all these little small things, and I was here for it. I was
the lighting,
so excited.
The lighting on cast. Black and white, because this is how they see things. Everything's black and white. Then when Sam goes through and then the color starts coming in, and the voiceovers are from the stage manager or the person that's omniscient in the story. So yes, there was a lot going on. That's my ELA brain going off.
the doctor, when the doctor was talking, and even when we saw that little montage of her 17 years, how it fit within the story of our town, I was like, oh my god. I was so excited about this. I was feeling this particular episode. So I gave it a 9.5, even though it didn't have a whole lot of action. And I like action, right? But this episode didn't need it. They didn't need it. It was good.
It may have lacked the type of action that we're used to in some of the episodes, but it wasn't anticlimactic. It wasn't that. It was not that. So yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social medias. Until next time, live long and prosper, my loves.